place, one that we're looking forward to. You respect the brand of football they play with, so this will be a good matchup.
I'm curious, with Za'Darius Smith, knowing that he would have had a bye week this week, does that impact at all the availability that he has this week?
Well, we gave him a couple of days off, so he'll be back Friday, and then we'll see where it's at there.
Just a matter of how much he can absorb of the packages in the playbook to be ready to go on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a place to use him. We'll see what it is when he gets back here on Friday. I thought that was important. I mean, he's been in this league a while, and they were actually just going on their bye week, when he got the call from us and everything got done. So, let him do what he needs to do, refresh, get back here Friday.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the process with the acquisition? You mentioned, Brad will bring something to you when it's seems realistic. What were those conversations? What do they look like? How excited are you to get Za'Darius in the fold?
Yeah, I mean, there was, like I say, I was able to put eyes on him a while back, certainly like the player, feel like he fits us. We'll bring something that we feel like complements the other players in that room. He's going to play the run. He can get an edge still. He finishes on the football. He's tough. Violent player, and so we're excited to have him. He'll be good for us. But yeah, I mean, I can't tell you the number of calls and inquiries that there are, and the bottom line is it's hard to find a pass rusher, especially in the season. Most teams aren't going to give them up. They don't care what you say, which is smart. And there's lessons learned. Brad and I were talking about. There's always lessons learned. We learned them in 21, 22, 23, 24, and as many of those guys as you can have. That's, it helps because that's just, injuries happen. And we happen to get hit at one position worse than anywhere else.
Will Josh be back this week and just stay with that position?
I believe he'll be good to go this week.
Obviously done well to, counter not having Hutchinson. But is Za'Darius maybe that proverbial one player away that sometimes you are, that one guy that you might need in the right situation at the right time later in the season?
Yeah, you don't ever know that, and that's why I think you got to be careful with the one player away. I don't think that exists necessarily. Now, can it help and can it balance things out everywhere else? Yeah, absolutely it can. But it's you do the one player away, and then all of a sudden the one player away got hurt, and you're like, oh well. But I do think it can balance things out, and it does alleviate pressure in some areas, and I think it helps us spread the load through that defense.
When you were a player, I don't know the whole extent of your history as a player, but I'm sure there was a time where maybe you guys acquired a player when you had a deficiency or someone was hurt. What does that tell you as a player as far as in the locker room when your GM, your coaching staff goes out and gets some help, some reinforcements?
I thought you were going to ask me, was I the one player away when I played? Absolutely not. No, I think it. Like, I think our guys are pretty good about, they trust us enough to know, like, if we're making a move or not making a move, it's for the best of the team. Like, they know where we're at. The core of this team, I mean, we've been together 4 years, and so I think they're good with, hey, man, if we're bringing somebody in, we need him, he's going to fit. If not, then we're good with what we got, and these are our guys, and we go to war. So, I know they'll embrace Za'Darius. He's going to fit into what we are, what we do. I know that. The guys are going to love him, and I think it's going to be a good fit.
You said there were lessons learned. Teams don't like to give up pass rushers, but what other lessons were learned at this deadline throughout this process?
Well, I think that's just the biggest thing is, injuries are coming. You always do. But when you get hit at one position, really, I mean, between Davenport and Hutch and Barnes, Kaminsky back in training camp, I mean, that's really your starters and your depth. So it's just, when you're in this position, trying to acquire pass rushers is a different deal. It's not like a receiver or a running back it just is because there's a premium on it. Teams don't want to give them up.
How do you tell how good of a fit he is? Like, do you know him well? Do you talk to other people, other coaches? Like, why are you so confident he's definitely a fit?
Yeah, I've got enough, I think, people that speak highly of him that I know, players and coaches, and they all say the same thing about him. Team guy, hard worker, tough, loves the game. And then you watch the film, and it backs it up. So I can't imagine that all of those guys would lie to me. So.
Did you have a chance to talk to him post-trade? And what was his
Yeah, I did.
What was his reaction, I guess?
He's fired up. He's fired up. He's excited to be here. He's ready to go. You know, he said everything that you would want to hear, man. He's going to give it everything he's got, and he wants to help us win. And whatever we ask him to do, he'll do.
I'm just wondering, every transaction that was closer than maybe just basic talks?
Uh,
I don't want to get into that.
Aaron Glenn is a homecoming for Aaron Glenn. I was wondering if you could just talk about the type of person and coach he is that you know that's made him so successful.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of things. First of all, he's salt of the earth. He's an unbelievable human being. You know, he's a man of high character. He's a grinder. I mean, nobody works harder or longer than he does. He's a student of the game, you know, for a guy that has learned so much. He wants to learn more and more. I mean, he's just constantly looking up better ways to do things, other ideas. You know, I think he's, you know, he's strategic. You know, the things that we go into the game with to attack opponents, I think is, I think it's some of the best in the league, man. And then when you start losing a couple of pieces here and there, and now you're still trying to attack them, but you've got to use what you have on the roster, I think he does an outstanding job. You know, he doesn't have bad days. You know, he's not one of these guys. I mean, he doesn't mean he didn't get, you know, he can get pissed off. I mean, believe me. But he's a fiery guy. But he is, and he just doesn't live like that, man. Everything is, hey, you tell me what it is, you tell me what we got, we're going to make it work. And we're going to make the most of it, and we'll be good. And, you know, he's just positive, upbeat, grinder. You know, I mean, I can't say enough great words about him, you know. Everybody respects him. And those guys play hard for him.
Coach Ryan, so, you know, their turnaround obviously happened a little bit faster than yours did here, but do you see similarities, I guess, in how they've built through the draft?
Yeah, I do. I mean, look, they've got a lot of young talent that they hit on, and it's funny because most of those players over there are all players that we really were high on too, you know. And so when you see that and you see some of these players, you're like, man, that was a good one, you know. That was a good pick they got there, and you see how hard they play and the type of football players they are, and so I do think there's a lot of similarities, you know. And there again, I think they've drafted well. I think D'Amico's done a hell of a job going in there, and just the style of play that they have. I think the quarterbacks played well. They got one there, and they're like anybody else. They've had to go through some injuries and stuff this year, and they're battling through it, and they're still one of the top teams in this league. So they're finding ways to adapt and continue to win. So it'll be a challenge.
Good day to Nolan. I know Jameson was back officially at the end today. I know he was around the last couple of weeks. You get the sense that, what do you think he learned from being out the past couple of weeks that made him?
I think anytime you don't get to play this game, I think you'll always, I think, reflect, and it just helps you look at it different vantage point, you know, and because it hurts, man. It hurts not to play. And, you know, when you don't have anybody to blame but yourself, it makes you look at yourself a little bit, you know, a little bit harder. And so he'll be fine. I really believe that. And I do believe he'll learn from it. I think he was just out there today, man. And our walkthrough we had, he's locked in, ready to go. So I think he's going to come right out of this on top.
You've got one practice squad elevation left for Muhammad. With the addition of Za'Darius and then hopefully getting Pascal back, like you said, what is the plan for Muhammad? Muhammad moving forward, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. This week will be a big part of that if he plays or if he doesn't play. But to your point, we still have an elevation, and you know, if not, then he's on practice squad for now. No, I mean, not really. Germ didn't, you know, he really didn't do anything today. Rodrigo's he's better. We'll have to see what he looks like tomorrow if he's able to go out there and practice. But really, other than that, I think that's about it. Feel pretty good about Pascal. Obviously, JMO's back. Oh, we are going to start the clock on E-Man and Iffy.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yes.